And I am going to happily pass it off. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so our speaker can. And then we will kick it off today. Therese Paul is a fabulous human. I've had the honor to meet her in person. She's a great speaker with great content. And Therese, we are thrilled to have you with us virtually here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Mhm.
All right, wonderful. It's so good to see you all here today. Just to start off, let me go ahead and introduce myself. Let me share my screen here. Okay, so here I am. I am a wellness practitioner and I have a background in nutrition, fitness, and coaching. And I have worn many hats over the years, including I'm an author and a college instructor, but none more profound than my role as a family caregiver. So you're looking at me with my dad here, and I was blessed to be able to spend his last 3 years on Earth as his caregiver, and I was very fortunate. He was, for the most part, very healthy and spry. Passed at 96, but lived a very good long life, and I cherish those times, but I remember, struggling at times as well, and so that combined with my experience with my mother, which was very different, but also plays into my role here as a professional in this area. My mother died actually fairly young. She was 59. She was a caregiver. She was one of those mother hens that took everybody under her wing and took care of everyone except the most important person, herself. And so I have that experience with her, as well as the wonderful time that I spent with my father, combined with my experience as a wellness practitioner. And my joy is to help other caregivers and those who work with them to focus on self-care. And part of that is mindfulness, because we can use mindfulness techniques to help us change the way we respond to stress, build resilience to stress, and be healthier people because of it. So thank you all for joining me today. So what is mindfulness anyway? So mindfulness is often considered a type of meditation in which you focus on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling in this moment without interpretation or judgment. And so,
Ther-
um,
Therese, I'm
yes,
sorry. So the slides we're seeing, we can see your thumbnails to the left, and I don't know if you moved to the next slide, but we're still seeing you and your dad in the title slide.
that's right.
Okay, perfect. I just
I
want to make
haven't
sure.
moved, I haven't moved off of that one yet.
Okay.
Like I told you, I only have like 20 slides or something. So we'll be sitting on them for a while. It's not like one
Okay.
of those things that you have to take a lot of notes or anything. We'll be gradually moving through the slides. But yes, I am still
Then
on the first slide. Let
then
me
I
let me
am
just
going to.
practice this, okay? When I move to this one, you can see
Yeah,
it. Okay,
good.
all
Yep,
right.
yep, yep. Good.
I'm
All
almost
right.
there.
Sorry, thanks.
No, no worries. I appreciate you checking in. So anyway, that was just kind of it to introduce myself, and now we're introducing the mindfulness term. So when you think of mindfulness, think of being 100% in the now, right now, without judgment. Okay, so focusing on right now, this beautiful moment, this amazing presentation, where you are, what you're experiencing, what you're feeling, what you're doing right now. And I often times will, invite people. If you do have something else on your mind, we want you to be 100% present in this time to focus on what we're talking about right now. So if there's something that you're thinking about, whether it's an appointment later or something you're worried about, just please place it on a little mental shelf. You can get it later if you need it. We want you to be focused in right here, right now. So, again, what is mindfulness? Focusing right now. And mindful activities actually can be a variety of things. So it could be as easy as the breath work, the beautiful example that we had when you guys were signing in. There was a box breath activity. So it could be breath work. It could be meditation, prayer. It could be a guided meditation. It could be journaling. It could be just going out in nature and getting a nice nature bath, right? It could be going to yoga or Tai Chi, and focusing on mindful breathing and body awareness. Would anyone like to share? What would you say? Does anyone here have a practice that they do on a regular basis that helps them to focus on being mindful? Anyone like to share that with us? Okay, I'm looking at the chat box. Nobody's sharing. Okay, well, then that means you are in the right place at the right time. Okay, we're going to talk about some ideas for you. And as we're going through the presentation today, I want you to keep in mind we're going to be setting a goal at the end. And when you set that goal, I want it to be something that resonates with you. So if you hear something that sounds kind of interesting, just jot down a little note, okay? A little note to yourself. Maybe your goal will just be to explore that further. But we're going to all set a goal. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the sharing here. So prayer, breath, prayer, and grounding. Thank you. That's wonderful. The 5 things you see, 5 things you hear, using all of your senses, right? What are you smelling? What are you tasting? What are you feeling? Yes, I love that. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you for sharing those. So again, if something resonates that we talk about today, jot it down, and we're going to all set a goal at the end to move somewhere. We're all on a journey. We're all on a different journey, but we're going to take a next step in our journey on mindfulness. All right. So again, mindfulness, that increased awareness of life, 100% present in this moment without judgment. So I have a picture here of a rose bush. So if it helps you, if you've never heard of mindfulness before, you may have heard stop to smell the roses. You may have heard that expression. So that is a great introduction, I think, to mindfulness because it is oftentimes, you can stop, smell the roses, reflect within, think about your senses, right? This is a picture of a rose bush that grew outside my apartment building in Denver. And I used it as a visual cue. As I was studying mindfulness, I thought, wow, this is a beautiful rose bush. I'm going to stop and smell it. And oh, what a great cue to remind me to be mindful. And so I would spend a few minutes just sitting there, being grateful for things that were in my life at that moment. But every day I would walk by that rose bush and it would remind me, right, to stop and be mindful. And so it was a great visual cue. So you can think about maybe you have a cue that might remind you. I also have in my apartment now, I have a little prayer corner on my end table that visually reminds me to pray and meditate every morning, right? So those little visual cues can be helpful. But I will remind you as well that we're not only examining the positive aspects of life, but it's important to be mindful of the negative ones as well. So a state of awareness that accepts the present moment, whether it's good or bad. And it's about being present for all life situations, even those that are uncomfortable or painful. So, for example, learning to be patient, right? Or when you're going through grief or grieving. These are all invitations to be mindful in something that may not be exactly pleasant, but is important for us to sense and feel and experience. So it can be either way, positive or negative. Here's a great quote from Thich Nhat Hanh, who is considered to be the father of mindfulness. It is only when we stop that we encounter life. When we stop, body and mind can reunite, and then we can experience their oneness. I'm fascinated with his words, especially since English is not even his first language. He is so good with the English language, it just amazes me. So another example, did anyone get to the end of August, let's say, for example, and think, what happened to August? What happened to that month? I swear it was just July, right? What happened to August? It just flew by like that. If you are feeling like time is flying by, it's because we are rushing from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and we're not stopping. We need to stop and encounter life. And that's when body and mind can reunite and we can get the benefits. And we're going to talk about what those benefits are. Thank you, Lori. Yes. All right. So the objectives for today, we're going to understand the impact of stress on the family caregiver. We're going to define mindfulness and list benefits of mindful practices on our health. We are going to learn mindfulness techniques to retrain our response to stress and build resilience. And we're going to discover practical strategies to integrate mindfulness into caregiving. Now, keep in mind, mindfulness is not rocket science, but it does take practice. So don't be in a hurry to be an expert on mindfulness. It's something that needs to be practiced, and you'll gradually get a little better each time you practice it. So I have been told that most of you are caregivers yourself, even if you are in the, you are also in the healthcare field. Many of you are also caregivers, as well as the caregivers as well. So wonderful to have you all here today. I don't need to tell you about caregiver stress. You know about that. But I do want to share some of the science behind it. So the first little excerpt here is from the American Psychological Association. Caregiver strain is often worsened by certain kinds of caregiver demands like dementia, end-of-life care, and in circumstances where caregivers do not have enough resources like knowledge, skills, social support, respite, and community services, and can be overwhelmed. And that is the problem, right? There is no manual. None of us are trained on how to be a caregiver. I actually was so freaked out about it that I went and became a professional caregiver for a year to get some training. Not everybody does that, but I was that freaked out about taking care of my dad. I was like, I'm going to get some training. It still doesn't prepare you for everything that's going to happen, but you know, I think it helped me a little bit. So the issue comes is when we become overwhelmed, right? We don't have the knowledge, the skills, the social support, the respite, the community services. And that's what a lot of you are here to help provide. So thank you, because it makes a huge difference on caregiver strain and stress. The second excerpt here is from NIH, National Institutes of Health. And this was a study that they did on caregivers. They actually measured their telomeres. So if you are not sure what a telomere is, telomeres are the protective caps at the end of chromosomes that prevent DNA from fraying, getting damaged, or being mistaken for broken DNA by cellular repair mechanisms. It has a serious role in aging. You can think of like the little tips on the end of your shoelace. That's kind of what a telomere looks like. But their role in aging, with each round of cell division, a small portion of the telomere is lost. Eventually, telomeres become critically short, signaling the cell to stop dividing and enter a stage of senescence. So telomeres are important for us as we're aging, right? There are a lot of good, healthy things that we can do. Reducing stress is one of them, to keep those telomeres. So they actually measured the telomeres of caregivers in this study, and they found that the study highlights subgroups of caregivers who have shorter telomeres. And these are those providing more hours of care, caring for a child or young adult, or reporting greater strain. And these people are therefore at particular high risk of poor health outcomes, because we need those telomeres, right? And unfortunately, stress causes them to shorten faster than even the normal aging process. So caregiver stress is serious. And I mentioned that my mother was a caregiver for my grandmother, and my mother passed away less than a year after my grandmother passed away. So, you know, we see these cycles, unfortunately, of people who care for people, their lives shortening as well. So it's something that we all need to focus on. Self-care, right? You are the most important person. So let's talk a little bit about our body's response to stress. So we all have stress. Stress is a part of life. It's normal, it's healthy, except when it is chronic stress. So we have physiological responses to a dangerous situation, okay? A snake crosses our path. We have to decide whether we're going to attack it, run from it, what are we going to do? And this is a strong response because our survival may depend on it, right? The problem is, and so, you know, our physiology changes. We have hormones that are released. We suddenly become stronger and faster than we normally would be, right? But the problem is when we have chronic stress. Like I said, caregiver stress can be very chronic. There are many different facets to that. But when we have chronic stress and we're constantly in that fight or flight mode, it can lead to high blood pressure, hardening of the arteries, obesity, depression, anxiety, insomnia. So figuring out how to respond to that stress so that we don't become overwhelmed, we don't become too strained, we're not dealing with it 24/7, can be effectively done through mindful practices. So you may think, well, how does this relate to me? So let's go ahead and take our little quiz. It's really just answering yes or no. And there are 6 questions on your little quiz there. I want you to answer yes or no to each statement as it applies to you. The first question, I forget a person's name almost as soon as I've been told it for the first time. So it's those 6 questions. You can stop there. You don't need to go any further than that on your questionnaire there. I'm going to give you a few minutes. Just answer honestly. We're not going to ask you for the answers. They're just for you, so you don't have to share them. But be honest with yourself. How would you answer these 6 questions? Okay, how did you guys do? Did you answer yes to any of those questions? Did you answer yes to all those questions? How about the last one? That one made me laugh when I saw it. I found myself thinking about other things while I was doing this, right? It's uh, it's frustrating. It really is. Every single one, too many. Yes, mindfulness can be improved. And really, let's face it, it's part of our culture that we feel productive. We feel good when we're rushing from one thing to the next and we've got our checklists and we're getting everything done, right? But unfortunately, that can keep us from being mindful. And so that's why I always start with, if you have anything else on your mind, please put it on a little shelf. Just visually, mentally place it on a shelf. You can get it when we're done. I promise you, it'll still be there. But let's focus 100% on this moment in time. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to improve that. So, raise your hand if you would like to improve sleep, attention, mood, diabetes control, life satisfaction, or reduce anxiety, pain, depression, insomnia, blood pressure, or job burnout. If this were a pill, can you imagine? We could charge a lot of money, but it's not. It's not. It's free. It's a gift that we all possess, right? We just have to get in the practice of doing it, okay? So, yes, there is science behind every single one of these. They have studied these practices and the effects on our system. And all of these can be obtained through practicing mindfulness. It's not difficult. It's not rocket science. It does require practice. And because we are so busy, we will forget to do it. And that's why I mentioned having visual cues. If I didn't have my little prayer spot on my end table, I would probably forget to do it most of the time. It's there to remind me. So think about that as we're going through some of these activities. What can I have as a visual cue to remind myself to practice? Because it's really important. So increasing awareness, focusing our thoughts on one thing at a time. Non-judgmental observation, taking a look at experiences in a non-judgmental way, not good, not bad, just is. And being able to choose to be mindful. Otherwise, even important things will get our continuous partial attention. We can't even focus on one thing anymore because we're so used to multitasking and all of that. So I want to give you a couple examples. The first one is a beautiful moment when I use my mindful skills. The second one is a not so beautiful moment when I use my mindfulness skills. So, but both of them I think are great examples of what you can do once you start practicing this. So the first one I know Teresa has heard. I give this, I've mentioned this a couple times before, but it's such a great example. A couple of years ago, my son got married, and I'm at the wedding. It's outdoors, and believe it or not, in May, outdoors in Ohio, it was a beautiful day, gorgeous weather. And everyone who has been married or been to a wedding, you know all the planning that goes involved into a wedding. So I'm at my son's wedding. I look at him and he's just so happy, like the look on his face, calm, happy, peaceful, wonderful. Everybody's having a great time. Before the wedding starts, I look at my watch and I realize the bride is late. Just a few minutes, but Old me would have literally pushed the panic button and started probably running around the place. And I thought, you know what? This is my moment to practice my mindfulness, because right now I can honestly say time is standing still. Everyone is just waiting, nothing's happening. What a beautiful moment. So I just kind of took a step back out of my paranoid self and said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to enjoy this moment, because once the bride gets here, the rest of the day is going to go like that, right? It's going to be from one activity to the next, to the next, to the next, and it's going to be gone, and I'm going to be sad. So right now, I am going to be happy in this moment. And I was so glad that I was able to do that. The other example I have for you is another time when I really was appreciating my ability to stop and be mindful. Now, keep in mind, once you practice mindfulness and you practice focusing on the now, it's like having a toolbox. You're practicing it, and that toolbox is right there with you, so you can use it whenever you need to. If you don't practice it and say you know what it is, you kind of like, yeah, I kind of get it. Yeah, it's okay. When you need it, especially in the second example I'm going to give you, it's going to be in another room somewhere. You're going to have to go digging for it, and you're not going to find it. You're not going to get it quick enough. The first example, I didn't have to be quick. The second one, I do. So I'm at an airport, and they just announced that our plane is boarding. And I was reading or something, I got distracted, and I realized, oh, I forgot to eat my lunch. I was going to eat before I got on the plane, and I have a tuna packet. I don't know if you guys like those tuna packets that you get, but you don't want to take them on a plane, right? Like, you don't want to be eating tuna next to somebody. So I always eat them in the airport before I go on the plane. So I'm like, I get my tuna packet out, my crackers, and I'm woofing it down. I don't recommend this. People are commenting. I have to see what you guys are saying. Okay. All right, you guys got the quiz. Okay, so I'm woofing down my tuna packet because the plane is boarding. All of a sudden, I realize I have a clump of food stuck in my esophagus. Luckily, it was below my airway. I wasn't having trouble breathing, but it was painful. If you've ever had anything like this happen to you, it's very painful. And I was like, oh my gosh, I took a sip of water thinking that would help. It made it worse. Now I've got water and tuna stuck. I throw everything on my husband, stand up thinking that's going to help. Nope, nothing. I'm panic stricken now. I start walking toward something. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going quickly, right? I'm just in panic mode. I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I end up standing in front of the trash can, and I'm literally thinking, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to lose my lunch right here, because I'm getting like that sweaty, feeling. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't believe I'm going to do this in front of everyone. This is not happening to me right now. Like, okay, so I forced myself, literally, grabbed my toolbox of mindfulness and said, reflect within, calm, peace. Started focusing on my breath, breathing in calmly, mindful. Keep in mind, I'm still in pain. Calmly, calmly, calmly. My esophagus relaxed, and the food went down. And I was so grateful that I was able to do that, because again, old me would have just been pushing that red panic button, just pushing it, and lost my lunch. And then they wouldn't have let me on the plane, right? They would have thought I was sick or something. So, keeping my toolbox next to me. So those are a couple of examples of a beautiful moment I wanted to be mindful in, and another moment where I had to calm myself down quickly. So these are great skills to have. We're going to talk about different ways that you can get them. Thank you. Yes, the power of the mind is amazing. So the ways that we experience life, there are two ways. We have a we have an autopilot and a direct experience. So let's talk about autopilot first. You all know what autopilot is. You remember the last time you got home from work and you don't remember driving home from work, right? Because you do it every day and you're like, I don't even remember doing it. Oh, you were on autopilot, right? You're detached from reality. You might be thinking about something else, planning ahead or whatever. Sometimes you can get negative visions when you're on autopilot. And keep in mind that the brain will look into the future or the past, just like it will automatically go into fight or flight mode. These are instinctive things, right? We have to train it not to. We have to use our higher brain and train it to focus on the now. Otherwise, we miss out on things that happen. Or in the case of being in a car, you might not be as responsive as you should be, right? If you're on autopilot. There are a lot of different things that we might be missing out on in autopilot. The other way we experience life is through direct experience. I'm seeing this, I'm feeling it, I'm hearing it, I'm smelling it, I'm tasting it. We're aware of all of our sensations. We're not judging, we're just being, and we're embracing the present moment. And what I liken it to is taking a snapshot. Do you ever take a snapshot in time of a beautiful moment with your mind and just stopping time for a moment? I took this picture of my granddaughter and I thought, this is a perfect example. She's dropping some petals and time just stops for a moment, right? So take that mental snapshot, step back, just take a step back and take a look at the picture. No judgment, just looking at a beautiful picture. No judgment at all. We're just stopping time for a moment so our mind and body can unite, right? So it takes practice to get into that direct experience and not go into the autopilot mode. So we are going to do a little practice here. We're going to do a mindful activity, and everyone can do it while you're sitting where you are. You don't have to have anything special for this. We're going to use what's called a beginner's mind. Think about a child. Children are so good at this. They have a beginner's mind, right? They're so much fun to watch, right? They'll pick up a rock off the ground and go, look at this. Isn't this the coolest thing you've ever seen in your life, right? Like they've never seen a rock before. And they do that with everything. So think about yourself as having a beginner's mind for the next few minutes. And I want you to pick an object in the room that you are in that you can see from where you are. Any object, choose an object, and we're going to observe it in silence for 2 minutes. Now, I'll tell you when to start, so you don't have to start yet. We're going to attempt to see and feel the object without taking it apart, formulating any ideas about it, or critically examining it. We're going to be a child. We're going to have a beginner's mind and just say, wow, isn't this cool? Isn't this so cool? Like you've never seen it before. Be aware of where your mind travels and attempt to remain focused on the object. Don't get angry with yourself. Just gently guide yourself back to the object. Okay? And I want everyone to look around and see their object. It could be anywhere within your vision. And I'm going to time you. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to focus on the object in silence, see and feel it without taking it apart, no judgment, just looking at it for what it is. Okay, ready and start. Remember, just gently guide your mind back to the object. If you start to sway, that was 1 minute. Halfway there. And done. How'd you do? What kinds of thoughts, feelings, memories, or sensations seem to lure you away from the present? So, just to give you an example, I looked at my wedding ring and my engagement ring, my ring set here, and I was just kind of trying to be a child. Oh, it's shiny, it has colors, it has texture, it's shiny. I'm just shining the light on it, trying to. And then, of course, I started thinking, oh, it needs clean. Nope, nope, that's judgment. Go back, just look at it. Oh, it's pretty. Was that the longest 2 minutes of your life or what? Like, isn't that incredible? And you got distracted by outside, dogs are barking. Oh, Judy, you wanted to stay there. See, it sounds like you're pretty good. You're pretty good at this. But yeah, it's hard to stay focused. So hard to stay focused. It seemed like a lot longer than 2 minutes. So again, we need to practice. This isn't rocket science, but we've got to practice it. Think about being a child and just laying on the ground looking up at the clouds or the trees or something. We used to do this, right? We know we can do it, but we don't do it as adults. We need to keep practicing that as adults, focusing on now. You picked something you wanted to be with, okay? Well, if you pick something that's really, exciting, maybe it'll keep your attention a little bit longer, but it's still difficult, right? And that was only 2 minutes. So we need to practice this, okay? So we're going to talk about different ways of practicing it, different types of mindfulness that we can practice. But let's talk a little bit about what's the opposite of mindfulness. Mindlessness, right? You've heard that term, mindless. Actually, a lot of problems are caused by behaviors that are so ingrained that they become automatic or mindless, right? We've got those pathways in our brain, and they're hard to change. Things like drug addiction, gambling, anger management, excessive worry, overeating. These can be the result of behavior or thought patterns that become activated without our apparent intent. Mindfulness training can actually help make these behaviors, um, we can take those behaviors and make our behaviors more intentional. Okay. So, very important to realize that we are talking about the opposite of mindlessness. Elsie noticed details about a plant that she never noticed. And she enjoyed it. That's great. That's wonderful. I love that, Elsie. Thank you for sharing. So we don't want to be mindless. We want to be mindful. So you can actually improve your control over yourself, control over problems, mindless problems. You can have an increased ability to understand why things happen, and you can manage things more effectively. We can actually practice mindfulness during any habitual overlearned activity and mentally comment to yourself about your observations, returning quickly to pure observing, because we will kind of sway away. We just have to gently bring ourselves back. So that we're just focusing on one activity. Now, are we going to be able to do this all of our lives? No. But if you can find ways to do this on a regular basis, maybe start with once a week, couple times a week, gradually moving into 5 minutes a day, So let's give some examples. During our practicing mindfulness, we want to try to avoid multitasking. I know you can't do that all the time. Sometimes we have to multitask just because we're late or whatever. But try and take some time when you can to avoid the multitasking. Return to pure observing. So any habitual overlearned activity is a good time to work on this. Cleaning. That's definitely one, right? So how do we help ourselves to be more mindful when we're cleaning? Well, we can use our senses. A lot of times I found out, I'll share this with everybody, most insects hate essential oils, and I love them. So pick some essential oils that you love, add them to your cleaning products, enjoy the scent, and keep the bugs away. Maybe, play some calming music, not that you're trying to focus on the music, but just to calm your nerves while you're cleaning. I do that sometimes. I'll play some music in the background just to kind of put me in a happy mood so I can get into my cleaning. But focusing on what you're cleaning, how you're cleaning it. I actually love cleaning wood. I love that, putting a nice wood cleaner or a wood reconditioner on and really getting that moisture back into that wood, think of something, just try to make yourself be aware of the cleaning and change something about it, different product, different something. Google something, come up with something new to do for your cleaning. It's a great time because it's an overlearned activity, right? It's a visual activity. It's easy to be mindless while we do it. So try to think of some ways you can be better with mindfulness during your cleaning. What about driving? We already mentioned this as an example. Mindless driving, going on autopilot happens all the time. And unfortunately, can cause car accidents, right? So how can you get focused on driving? For example, when you stop at a red light or a stop sign, use that as a signal to bring yourself back to the experience of driving. It's habitual activity. One thing that I have done is try a different route. Don't take the same route all the time. Take a different one so that you actually have to use your brain. Don't use your GPS if you don't have to, right? Use your brain when you're focusing on where am I? Where should I turn? What's going on? How was I trained to drive, right? I'm supposed to be paying attention to everything around me. So try to use your mindful skills when you're driving, focusing on what you're actually doing. Mindful conversation. This is a great one for caregivers. Your person that you're caring for oftentimes would love for you to be 100% present when they're talking, right? So try to practice mindful conversation on that. If any of you saw the movie As Good as It Gets, there's a perfect example where Helen Hunt's character is talking to a gentleman and he starts telling her something very personal. She's driving, so she pulls over and parks and she says, I want to be 100% here for you while you tell me this, right? That's perfect conversation. You're just focused on them, not on anything else. So it's a great time to practice just being focused. And it's a great thing for a caregiver because they want you to hear them, right? They want to be, even if it's something you've heard 100 times before, they want you to hear it. So it's a great time to practice being mindful. So don't try to cut them off. Don't try to, finish their sentence. Just let them do this. Let them do this. This is important to them. Another example is mindful eating. How often do we eat mindlessly, right? This is a constant one. It's a problem. One of the problems with mindless eating is you're not fully experiencing eating, and so you may find you're full. You're not full. You don't really get that full experience. You may be hungry quicker because you aren't paying attention to what you're doing. So here's some mindful eating tips from some of my other background areas. Try not to get hangry. That's when we're woofing it down, right? When we're boarding the plane or when we're really hungry, try not to do that, right? Don't get hangry. You want to be able to, your blood sugar level should be normal so you can experience this and not try to just wolf it down. Appreciate your food. When's the last time you thought about how that food got to you? Somebody grew it, somebody processed it, somebody packaged it, somebody transported it, Be appreciative of all the work that went into that food. Somebody cooked it, somebody served it. Start with a small portion. My clients, whenever they reduce their portions, they always tell me, I appreciate my portions now. I appreciate those bites. There aren't as many of them, right? So start with a small bite. Bring all your senses to the meal. So as you can see, I created a fruit salad here with just a bunch of colors, textures, tastes, lots of things to focus on with your senses. Take small bites. Where do you enjoy food the most? In your mouth, right? So leave it in there a little longer. Take small bites, chew it, appreciate it, enjoy it. Eat slowly. Even if you have to light a candle or play some relaxing music, try and get in the mood of eating slowly. Eat at the table. Try not to be in front of the TV all the time, right? Because if you're focusing on the TV, you're not focusing on your food, you're multitasking. Focus on the food and the enjoyment of the meal, because that's part of it too. You should enjoy what you're eating, casually talking to people, relaxing, tasting, smelling, seeing. All of those things should be enjoyable. So try to do that more often. It's a great way to do practice mindfulness, and something you can do with the person that you're caring for as well. Make it an enjoyable event. Yeah, so if you're trying to get into the conversation, don't try to multitask. Say, you know what, give me 10 minutes to finish what I'm doing and I'll call you back. Yeah, I like that idea. Thank you for conversations, Elsie. Focusing. All right, so I wanted to share a little body scan meditation with you. This is another way of practicing mindfulness. Remember, we talked about different ideas for this breath work, just focusing, being in nature, doing meditation, prayer, journaling, whatever gets you to focus on that. And not the same activity is for everyone, right? So pick things, try some different things out. This is a quick body scan meditation I want to give you in case any of you have never done a little guided meditation. But before we're able to relax, we've been sitting too long, so go ahead and stand up and do a few, just a little bit of marching in place. Just let your, maybe stretch your arms out. Get that blood flowing, okay? Everybody stand up, get your blood flowing so that I know you're going to be able to relax completely in our body scan meditation. Oh, feels good. Feels good to get that blood flow back. And it also helps your brain too. So if you're ever at work and you're like, I can't think anymore, get up and take a walk around your office real quick. Gets that blood flow back to your brain. It's good for you. All right. So now that we've stretched, I want everyone to sit down, relax, get comfortable in your chair. And let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. If anything else is on your mind right now, just place it on a little shelf. You can get it later. I promise it'll still be there. Let's take another deep breath. I want you to be relaxed and comfortable in your chair, both feet on the floor, if that is comfortable for you. And let's begin by bringing our attention to our environment, slowly looking around and noticing that you are safe in this moment. And now I want you to bring your attention into your body. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable, or maintain a soft gaze with your eyes partially closed, but not focusing on anything in particular. Keep breathing. You can notice your body seated wherever you're seated, feeling the support of the chair or the floor beneath you. Take a few deep, long breaths within the range of what is comfortable for you. And as you take a deep breath, bring in more oxygen, enlivening the body. And as you exhale, you might experience a sense of relaxing more deeply. You can notice your feet on the floor. Notice the sensations of your feet touching the floor, the weight, pressure, vibration, and heat. You can notice your legs against the chair, pressure, pulsing, heaviness, lightness. Notice your back against the chair, supporting you. If you're not able to notice sensations in all areas of the body, that's perfectly okay. We are more connected to certain areas of the body than others at different times of the day. Now bring your attention into your stomach area. If your stomach is tense or tight, can you allow it to soften? Take another breath. Notice your hands. Are your hands tense or tight? See if you can allow them to soften. Notice your arms. Feel any sensation in your arms. Do your best to allow your shoulders to be soft. Notice your neck and throat. Try to allow them to be soft. See if you can invite a sense of relaxation in. Try to soften your jaw. Do your best to allow your face and facial muscles to be soft. Then notice your whole body present. Take one more breath. Be aware of your whole body as best as you can. Take a breath. Slowly open up the eyes without focusing on anything in particular. Allow the head and neck to gently rotate, taking in the space that you are in. When you feel ready, you can return to your normal gaze. How do you feel right now? When we tap into the parasympathetic system, remember that this is not a voluntary system. You can't just go, I want to relax, I want to rest and digest right now. This is something that you tap into by doing other activities that will stimulate the rest and digest and get you out of the fight or flight mode. Much more relaxed. Calm until my client comes in. Okay, all right. But this is a gift that we all have. We are all able to do this. And there are resources for guided meditations if you found this to be relaxing and you'd like to add this to your mindful practice. So now what I'd like to do is to talk about creating an action goal. So if something resonated with you today, think about writing a goal on what would be next. How could I learn more about that? How could I practice that more? Or maybe I've had somebody say, oh, I've been in a lot of car accidents. I should probably work on the mindful driving. Or I know I should work on mindful conversation. That's something. Or maybe mindful eating is my thing to start with. Or maybe I want to work on that visual cue. So I want you all to write something down, creating a specific goal. If you can do a SMART goal, that's great. So specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, time-bound. Something that you're going to do today, tomorrow, or at least this week, right? Something soon that you could do to practice mindfulness, to remember to practice your mindfulness. Go ahead and take a minute to jot something down that you would like to focus on. And maybe your goal, if you haven't thought of it yet, might be just to check out one of these resources. Greater Good Science Center, absolutely fabulous. If you haven't looked at that yet, please do. Blogs, meditation, lots of good stuff. Podcasts, there are resources like apps and lots of stuff on YouTube. Mayo Clinic mindfulness exercises, mindful eating tips, lots of great things. Thich Nhat Hanh, I'm not the only fan here. I know Teresa loves him as well. I will leave you with this final quote from him. Breathing in, I calm body and mind. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is the only moment. Thank you all for joining us today. I know we're a couple minutes over. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I wanted to get through that so that if anybody does need to leave, you are able to do that. Fill out your evaluation. Thank you for being here. And remember, we all start at some point and we're all moving forward. Every little tiny step helps. You are very welcome, Christine. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Therese. Everyone, I did drop the link to the evaluation in the chat, so make sure you're grabbing that. Like I said at the beginning, required for CEUs. Um, but even still, if you're not seeking CEUs, we still want to have that feedback. We want to make sure that we're bringing you the content that is valuable to you. So please take a moment and get that completed for us. In the meantime, I am going to share my screen again here and let you know that each of these sessions are recorded. And if you would like to find them, you can go to our website, which you see up here on your screen now, www.dhad.org. And this is what you'll see when you first get there. That's our homepage. And you'll scroll down just a little bit and you'll see those 5 blue circles. The second one in says I'm a caregiver. And if you click that, you'll be taken to a page that looks like this. There's some information about our family caregiver at the top, and this is what you'll see as you scroll down. You'll see new family caregiver Noontime Knowledge series, tells a little bit about what we're doing with them, followed by the upcoming schedule of more sessions just like this with fabulous information. And then down towards the bottom of this screen, there's more information underneath this, but you'll see where it says missed a session or want to rewatch. Click here to go to our Caregiver Noontime Knowledge playlist. It's posted on YouTube, but it has every single session that we have done so far, and we'll continue to post these as we do these.
We can't see your screen.
Oh, well, shoot, I'm just chatting
Sorry.
away here.
Sorry.
What am I sharing? It says I'm sharing something. Hmm.
I might have been a little late in stopping my share, and maybe you were already like
No,
ahead of me or something.
you're fine. Do we see it now?
There we go.
Okay, let me back up here.
Oh,
So,
you can see it. Oh, other people can see it. It was just me. Sorry.
oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. So there's the direction to home, a home screen again. If you go down to that I'm a caregiver bubble, click that. That's the caregiver page with the upcoming schedule, the link to see the videos, all of that. So make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're completing that evaluation for us. And otherwise, thank you so very much. If you have any questions, please don't be shy. Unmute, tap them out in the chat box for them to be answered. We'd love to have your thoughts. Marissa, no, you don't need to email that quiz to me. It's just a fun thing to do here. Nothing to do with, you'll still get your CEUs. Yeah, Lauren, if you scroll up a little bit, you'll see where it says evaluation with a link. It says https://forms.office.com, blah, 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 blah. That's in there. I will drop it in again. Link to evaluation. There you go. And the link to the evaluation will be live until noon this Friday. Then it will close out. We won't be able to access it anymore. So make sure you're getting that done. So anybody have any questions at all? Feel free to unmute. This is great stuff. I'm ready to take a nap now.
Thank you
Very
for
relaxed now.
sharing, some of the comments that you have been throughout the presentation and sharing some of the breath work that you're doing, the sense um, questions that you were talking about. And this information is out there. And I think we all know, yeah, there's some benefits for some people or whatever, but really focusing on finding out what works for you, because there are many ways to practice mindfulness. Try some different things. Breath work isn't for everyone, or maybe you haven't found the right one. Guided meditation. Most people I have found, and that's one reason why I do this with people, is that once you experience it, that was a short one. There's so many different guided meditation options. You can get into longer, more in depth. Um, Lots of good stuff out there. Like I said, you can find these on YouTube or apps or whatever. It's an easy one to start with, and you get that feeling of calm and peace, and you want to be there, and that's good. So you want to focus on calming yourself and also focusing on the present moment, right? This is all part of being mindful, all part of it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your nice comments.
And people who are with Direction Home, we have access, well, everybody has access to an app called Calm, but if
Mhm.
you are Direction Home staff, and you are aware about our Vitality program, it's kind of an addition to our health insurance program, or offering, you can get points for doing meditation with Calm.
Nice.
So,
I love
little
that.
added extra bonus.
Motivation to try it. Yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
great.
And Calm is a free app. There is a paid version where you can
Right.
unlock more content, but it's free to use.
Mhm. Yeah, there are a lot of free resources. Like I said, I'm a YouTube person.
Mhm.
Sometimes you get
Spotify
on
has some good
YouTube.
ones.
Yeah, and sometimes you get on YouTube and you get a little bit intimidated. Well, what's a chakra or what's a shaman or what are these terms? I don't know what this is. You don't need to know what a chakra or a shaman is to be practicing mindfulness and guided meditation. So please don't let that worry you. If you want to look them up and you want to, go in that direction and look into it, that's fine. You don't have to. Everybody, this is a gift, this is a tool for everyone. Um, and just practicing mindfulness, getting those skills, having that toolbox with you can really make some huge changes
Mhm.
as we move forward on this journey of life as a caregiver or a person who's helping caregivers. It's a very important set of tools to have. So thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. And just as a reminder, I can have certificates out by this afternoon. It's after I verify attendance, and we did have to be here the full hour to get CEU credit and verify that the evaluations have been completed. So once I have that all cross-checked, I'll start sending those CEU certificates out in your email. And again, social workers and counselors, I'll put your information into CE Broker for you. Any other licensure, go ahead and self-report. Yeah, thank you.